whatever it is you're going to say on your instrument or on your voice, really just make sure you mean it. And Scott Page would always say that, like, walk in and own the place. If you even have a 10-second solo, just say everything you can in it. I played for nobody, literally. And I'm just like still so like, I can't believe I get a chance to just play this thing or sing this thing, because it's a spiritual experience. You have to go that extra 10 miles to just be the best you can be, not in the world, but for you. And to make it, because it's hard to make it. They don't tell you that. To like, you gotta like be real, like really into it. You gotta be like a pro.
Hey there, welcome back to Raj with Kate Eckman. We've got a really fun episode for you today because I need some fun, you need some fun, we all need some fun, and we're gonna get in touch with our inner artists and our own creativity. And here to do that with us is musician Derek Day. He is the frontman for Classless Act. I want to call him a class act, but he wants to be a classless act. So we'll go with it. He is open for just some iconic bands like Leppard, Motley Crüe, Poison, Joan Jett, and he's also one of the front people for Sixx, which is a Pink Floyd tribute band. And the saxophonist Scott Page, of course, is a Raj favorite. So Derek Day, welcome to Raj. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. This is really fun. I'm a little surprised you had me because a lot of your guests, they're so freaking like amazing, and I'm working to that level, so I'm honored, really.
You are so amazing, and thank you for your humility. You know, I have to share with my audience, when I saw you, I just thought, who is this guy? I saw you perform at the Mint in Los Angeles with Sixx, and you just have such a star quality and such a stage presence, and just the singing and the showmanship and your electric guitar playing. I mean, you really are such a rock star, and I'm so excited to have you be a household name where everybody knows your name, and you're right there. So congratulations on all your success and your humility.
Oh, thank you, Kate. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take what I can get.
I appreciate the humility. You know, the music industry is a lot to navigate, and we can get into the state of the music industry later. And sadly, now when I think of the music industry, I think of, just a lot of ickiness, abuse, and especially because so many kids are getting into the industry at a young age like you did. So you, I know, were born and raised in Los Angeles, got into music practically in your diapers. How did your musical journey begin?
Oh my gosh. So you're right. It was definitely diapery. And I don't know when I started playing, but very young, picked up an instrument and started singing as an infant too. But I kind of really started making it a serious endeavor when I started busking on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. I was like 13 years old, and I just like, I would walk there as a kid with my parents, and I'd be like, whoa, like they're just jamming and they're making money. Like, that's great. And like, so I put 2 and 2 together. You could like have fun and make money. And ever since then, I never looked back. So yeah, I just street performed for many years, even like in Venice Beach and a little bit in Hollywood and here and there, Burbank and different places. And through that, I made some contacts. You do meet a lot of sleazeballs. But then around like when I started to get into the Sunset Strip scene, there's this thing like the Ultimate Jam Night. You could go there every Tuesday. You could jam there, and you start meeting like these guys from Quiet Riot or like Wasp or some like cool, awesome bands. And you get like a little session gig and a little thing over there. And that's when it started to take off. And then I think Steve Vai saw a video of mine, and he like asked me to do a little tour with him. And then Ted Nugent saw that. And then it just kind of snowballs a little bit. Like the music business is all connection. And yeah, like, Living Color, a lot of that stuff, Steel Panther, they were just, it's a lot of lovely helping out of friends and musicians and stuff. They just like giving a kid a chance. So that's kind of it. I was raised on these streets.
Raised on these streets. Where does the confidence come from to be that young and just put yourself out there in public to be criticized or celebrated, but to just go out there and really not give a damn?
That's a great question. I think that's like the age-old question. Who knows how it started? Like, I think my mom, she's like a Honduran woman, and she's just like feisty and loud, and like, I think something about that boldness came. I was just like, the first time I went out there, I was like, all right, let's just do it. And it is a lot of people like, kind of like this guy, whatever, you know. There's a lot of shedding too. I wasn't great for a long time, so um, yeah, I don't. I think some instinctively, you know, a little Latin blood. I don't know.
And maybe if you don't, because I feel like you've been great since birth, but when you don't feel great and you still decide to go out there, not hiding at home, but be out there in public in a city like Los Angeles, where people are used to the best of the best and so many different creatives, but to not feel the best, but just continue to go out there. Is it just such a love for the music and singing and performing that keeps you going?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've played the worst gigs ever, and I'm just so happy to be there. I've played gigs where it's just, like, again, on the street or in the venue, which is even more lonely if there's no one there. Like, I played for nobody, literally. And I'm just, like, still so, like, I can't believe I get a chance to just play this thing or sing this thing. Because it's a spiritual experience. Like, I'm never under any influence when I do it, either. I'm always just, like, searching for it as I play. So, yeah, it's like a religion.
Yeah, what are you feeling or downloading? Describe those feelings that are in your body. And I always think of what you all are thinking about, because as the audience and I take it in, and one of my favorite things to do is go and see live music, whether it's a Taylor Swift, like and who's in another stratosphere, or it's some unknown that I've never heard before that I think, like, even you, I didn't know you. And I'm like, who is this guy? Just the second you came out, I felt it. And you know, Scott Page, who performed with David Gilmour, arguably the best guitar player of all time. I saw him at Hollywood Bowl on Halloween last year, and it was a spiritual experience. I felt the first few notes of his guitar in my bones, and that's what you're able to do for us. And so I'm just curious from your perspective, because I suck at music. No one wants to hear me play or sing anything. So what is it on your end? Because we're feeling it. So what are you feeling when you're performing, whether it's in front of nobody or thousands of people at SoFi Stadium?
You don't suck at music. I want to hear you try something. I have a theory that I feel like everyone's very musical. We're just waiting to do it, I feel like. I don't know. But no, the feelings, oh my gosh, I don't even know. It's just like, it's always a dream. This is insane, because I talk to like my friends that aren't musicians. I'm like, what are you experiencing? Because I'm like, when I'm up there, I'm like totally, I can't imagine like we're feeling the same thing, but the goal is to connect. So it's always some weird paradox to me. I'm just like, I'm tripping out. Okay, well, number one, for me, I'm really, really present. I'm cognizant of every little detail in the room, and it's kind of like an acid trip. Nothing's like protruding or anything, but I just notice like what is on the lapel of that guy's shirt, or what this expression is, some micro expressions and everything. And that's like the first thing I noticed. And then once I like step away from that, because you shouldn't focus on that. You should just acknowledge it and let it be a part of what you're about to do or what you're doing. It just becomes like total, like, I don't know if autopilot is the right word. I just kind of like I'm not there anymore. I'm just like, let whatever is going on around me just happen. I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Do you then cater what you're doing to someone's micro expression or someone's joy, or someone kind of just looking at you like, I'm not into this? Or do you just stay so present in the moment and not really give too much attention to what we're all doing?
That's like the struggle. Like, if I see someone not enjoying or enjoying too much, I could be like, it's kind of like it's on social media. If someone comments something negative, it's hard not to feel that. You're like, oh man, like, or someone's really digging it and my head's getting big. And then I start sucking like, oh man, like there's no winning. So like, that's the struggle. I've learned to really just acknowledge and push it away, and then like just go right back to the music. Sometimes that's what's great about having a drummer and a bassist too, is like, you know what, maybe let me like go over to this guy, maybe talk to this guy with this and see what that feels like. And yeah.
So there's kind of that energy with the crowd, but then with the band, you guys are always vibing off of each other. Talk to me about the importance of not just you being present within you and letting your talent shine, but also the energy and chemistry between everybody up on stage, because you can see even sometimes tension can be good. And like Nirvana just came to mind, where sometimes I'm like, do these guys even like each other? But that worked. And I think they were all on some substances too. And with you, when you're playing with different bands, sometimes like you're the front man of your band, Classless Act. And then other times you're playing this Pink Floyd tribute band, Think X. And then other times you're opening for some other acts. So how do you kind of manage it on stage?
The changing it around a lot and like playing with different players for me has been so exhilarating. It's a nice way to like learn a new culture in a way. Even if we're all from the same place, it's like I feel like I'm learning a whole new person, a whole new style. Like I'm also like I'm in a lot of bands around town. Like I'm in this Polish band, and we play Polish songs for weddings and stuff. And that's literally a whole different culture. They're different kinds of players and stuff, but it doesn't matter who it is. Connection is so important. If you're not vibing with someone, like even in the way Nirvana does it, or like Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, they were darts at each other towards the end of their career, but that worked, right? Like there needs to be some sort of deep love in there for each other, or deep understanding, like this is what we're here to do. There's been a lot of times where I've hired someone to play a gig or something, like as a trio, like somewhere off in the desert somewhere, and like they're just not in the right, we're not on the right, like there's super polite to each other, but we're not like in the right headspace with each other or have the same goal or something. Maybe they're just trying to leave and I'm trying to perform or whatever, I don't know. And that's like, it's hard to miss with music connection. Usually like if you love music and I love music, we're going to be best friends. If you're kind of like phoning it in, which is a case a lot, that's when it's like, oh, yikes. And then the show's bad. But even that's why when those bands that do clash with each other, everyone's so passionate about it, it still works.
Yeah, I want to think about Think X. If you could even just share the absolute rock stars who are in this band, because I'll let you say it, but it's like someone from Jane's Addiction and Fishbone and Kid Rock and Pink Floyd and One Direction. But if you could just walk us through some of these members and what it's like. I know you guys don't even rehearse that much, but you come together and it's just out of body experience that I had watching. So I guess what that's like coming from all these different bands, and what you learn as a frontman from the drummer from Jane's Addiction, for instance.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Steve Perkins from Jane's Addiction, Norwood Fisher from Fishbone, Kenny Olsen from Kid Rock, and the Hendrix Experience with some of those Jimi Hendrix members, and Will Champlin. He worked with One Direction, and he's done a lot of great things on TV. Roberta Freeman, who was also in Pink Floyd, and she was the first lead female vocalist in Guns N' Roses for the Use Your Illusion tour, which I would watch her on a DVD before 20 years before I ever met her. So like it's crazy. And freaking Scott Page, Toto, Supertramp, Pink Floyd, David Gilmour, everybody. Man, they are in love with music. Something like I would learn from any one of these guys are like, I don't know, like just like if you're gonna say it, it doesn't have to be super technically amazing. It just really better take hold of the room. Whatever it is you're gonna say on your instrument or on your voice, really just make sure you mean it. And Scott Page would always say that, like, walk in and own the place. If you even have a 10-second solo, just say everything you can in it. And it made me realize the importance of impact. Don't just play looking at your shoes. There's a lot of that going on. Don't half-ass anything. And that's kind of like with life, too. If you're going to do it, go all the way or don't do it at all.
Play it like you mean it. And that's what I felt. Thank you. I wanted you to put words to it from your perspective, because that's what I felt. And that's why I like being at that venue too. I mean, I was just mesmerized. I just sat there and I was like, even with you, because you're the singer, I'm like just staring, and I'm like, not in a creepy way, but I think just taking it all in. And as a performer myself in a much different way, I like to learn from all of you too. And one thing, and I talk about it in my speaking, is the importance of presence, not just being present, but showing up like you mean it. Like you just said, giving it your all for yourself, for the audience, whether it's one person or millions, because we feel that. And I think right now we all need to feel something more alive, certainly more connected to self and others, more expressive in our art and our talent and whatever your gift is, to literally play it for the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's subtlety too. Like you can be subtle, but also really mean it too. So like, yeah.
Ooh. Say more about that.
Well, it's weird because you don't want to be too like, as a younger guy, a musician, I want to be like, look what I can do, everyone. Blah! And I'm like running around and it's like, and it gets a little, but like playing with like Steve Perkins and stuff, who can do all of that, but says, I'm going to do this, like something real, like more to the core and simpler. It's weird. Like you could be really impactful with just like a few words. In fact, sometimes that's the case. Like a simple phrase, or like right now I'm the king of over explaining. So like, but like it's a thing I'm still trying to hone in. It's like with your playing, with your talking, with your speeches, with everything, if you can boil it down to something really simple, it could hit harder. Yeah, that's like something I've been learning.
Oh, so that really is an art. Something I say, a spiritual principle of mine, is to really fine tune our instrument before we play it for the world. So in other words, for me, that means to do our inner work, whether it's coaching, therapy, meditation, reflection, listening to music, walking in nature, to fine tune our instruments, that our body is the instrument, our mind, our spirit. So you're literally doing that, fine tuning your instrument before you can play it for the world. How have you, though, personally, guitar and microphone aside, really fine-tuned yourself, Derek, the instrument, to go from singing in diapers with your spicy mother, being on 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, to now opening for some of the most iconic bands in the world?
Oh, man. Some like interpersonal things. I mean, it's so wishy-washy being a musician. So like, sometimes you miss auditions and stuff like that. I had to fix that first. I had to fix like my relationships. Like, let's make sure I'm on top of myself. And like, as a musician, you have to like manage yourself, no matter how many managers you have. And that just means like being healthy, of course. And I actually took like the last year or so being completely sober of everything, like except coffee.
I'm not giving up my coffee either.
Oh God, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the lifesaver. No, but even then, like I'm taking even less of that too. And just to understand myself more and listen to my brain more, listen to what my body wants, and like being completely just sober of a lot of things. It's been very lovely to hone in on me, working on myself. I mean, I journal every single day, at least 2 or 3 pages, first thing in the morning. And like, I never look at my phone at least until 30, 40 minutes after I wake up, to give my brain a little break. And I make sure I'm creative every day. And that way I'm fulfilled. And when I'm fulfilled, I'm not hurting anybody, kind of a thing.
And then less likely to reach for the substances. I know it's part of the music culture. I feel like substances and music go hand in hand. How do you kind of avoid that trap? I mean, some people can do large amounts of drugs and still perform at a high level. Rolling Stones just came to mind. For decades, I'm like, how? I would be not alive by now. But how do you kind of avoid those temptations when it's in your face and sometimes you need to stay awake and play really long nights and on tour? But I think that is something, this is when I feel old, where I'm just kind of, and I don't have kids, but adults feel like my kids, where I just want to take everyone aside, like, honey, like, please take care of yourself. And you see a lot of addiction or overdose or even death. So how do you kind of manage that, especially where there is pressure to party or stay awake, or maybe some people tap into their creativity that way?
Right, exactly. You're totally right. People can really do it. They can do it all. And I'm at a loss as well. Like, I don't know how you can hold tune with being a little skewed. But I think it all starts with individuality, because once you start to separate yourself, like, okay, Keith Richards could definitely do that. I can't, or maybe I can to an extent, but it's not how I want it to sound even. And if you start with like, this is me, and we're all like literal stardust, and we're all very special, and we're so individualistic, each and every one of us, and we should take pride in that. So when I start to look more at that, I have more respect for myself and more pride. Not that I have anything against anyone doing their thing, you know. A lot of my band members do a little bit of this and that, and they're awesome, and they're really good at what they do, and they're lovely human beings. It's just for me, like, I realize it is still hard to like stay away from it. It's always free and it's always like around. And like, as Whitney Houston would say, it's like being on stage is the greatest feeling ever. So when you're off, you're like, how do I have that greatest feeling ever again? And so it can be really tricky. But yeah, I think just there's so many ways to do it. But I think it starts with individuality.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, what is a natural high that you get? Because I imagine it is like chasing the dragon when you're out there performing and living your dream and expressing yourself. And I think it's also you're feeling yourself. You have to be in touch with your feelings when you're performing. You have to be present when you're performing. Or it's just like you can fall out of tune. Or for me, I could forget my words or not even know what I'm talking about while giving a speech. But what is that high that you can really tap into off stage?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, following my greatest excitement kind of a thing of the day, you know, of course we all have to work and we have to make money. So we all have jobs. But if I could do one thing a day that makes me extremely excited, it'll keep me going for the whole a week sometimes. And a lot of times that's just like, it could even just be working on my own brand online or tweaking my website to like find new fun little areas to build my brand as I'm still up and coming, or just sitting down and writing a song in a funny way, because there's no one way to write a song. But yeah, or like if I'm like really feeling like I want to go just do this, I want to go on a hike, or I really want to go do this thing right now, I follow it and I just don't let anything else bother me. And that sort of thing, it keeps me in a state of just like, I don't know, like positive gratitude and just happy to, I do like, and in awe. It keeps me in a state of awe, because then when you start doing that, you start to like look at your hands and you're like, dude, I'm like a thing right now. How am I a thing right now? So you start like, you know, you do kind of get like high from like your own brain.
Yeah. What I'm hearing from you is, again, presence. I'm hearing flow. I'm hearing appreciation, and interesting from a musician, but almost like slowing down to just notice. And then you even bring that on stage where you're noticing things about the audience and the venue and the environment. And in a way, like you said, to tune in and connect. So I think these are just important themes that a lot of us forget about in the day to day when it's all the responsibilities and things that we have to do. But even the art of noticing and the art of slowing down and the art of deep appreciation, even for you think of your hands, like your hands are able to do such incredible things with an instrument to entertain us. And, you know, I want to get to that too, just how music can really help all of us and connect all of us. And even these themes we talked about in this political climate and everything going on in our country and the world. But I first have to ask what you learned from the Def Leppard guys and Poison and Joan Jett and Motley Crüe. I mean, people who, again, have been entertaining us for decades and are still doing it somehow. What you can learn as I don't even say a younger person, but as someone, I think, with their talent that just is not the household name yet, but you will be, mark my words. You even have the household name, Derek Day. What do you learn from folks like that you can not copy, but kind of embody something and make it your own from their genius?
Oh, wow. Hey, you're good at speaking.
Well, this is my art. My art is conversations. I'm very passionate.
You really are, and it shines through the video, and like, yeah, you articulate things so well, because it's hard to articulate things these days. It's refreshing. It really is.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is my, singing and guitar playing. I'm going to make your ears bleed if I sing on stage. So hopefully this is a bit more gentle.
Hey, look, I love it. I love it all. Oh, okay. All right. So going back to the question, those cats, man. Okay, the first thing I learned from that stadium tour we did with Motley and Def. Like, they've been in the business for, I don't know, maybe 40 years or something now.
Crazy.
And like, just pros. They're so professional. And you would think like there's a little bit of jadedness or like a little, but no, I just see them. They're on time, sound check, like, and every single one of them, especially Def Leppard too, because they're like, I think they have more members. So, and they have like very intricate harmony parts, like singing parts. So they're just like freaking like a train. And so that was so cool to see. I'm like, this is where it's at. Like, they have a movie called The Dirt where they're like crazy party, but they're still like, they're showing up like perfectly on time and they're making it work, and they're super well rehearsed, super talented people, and like, it was so inspiring. I'm like, you know what? This isn't a look thing. This isn't a fake it till you make it thing. You gotta be in love with the art enough to pay the art the respect of discipline. And so there's a lot of discipline, a lot of well-oiled machines within the band. That was the first thing I learned. Just be a pro. Whatever you're going to do, just be a pro at it. Like, even if that means like getting up an hour earlier than you're used to, or showing up on like 30 minutes earlier than you're supposed to, because that's what they did. And I was like, I'm still like weirded out by that. Like, Nikki Sixx is like on time and so like that doesn't make sense, right? Like, Tommy Lee is like a T and like right behind his drum set, like ready to go. Like, what's going on? Like,
I love that you're saying this. Thank you so much for sharing this, because these are even, I'm feeling less neurotic right now. Thank you, because these are things that I picked up being a competitive swimmer for 17 years and having a military father. But I had a swim coach. If you were 5 minutes late for practice, the door was locked. Like, you weren't coming in. And it sounds harsh, but that has served me my whole life. And I'm hardcore about showing up on time or even early. And sometimes you hear with people this famous and that successful that they don't take it seriously. They're rude. They show up whenever. And so I love what you said. Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx, they're on time. They're well rehearsed. I mean, these are things that I preach to my clients. I had a client even wanted to be this big speaker. And so I'm like, okay, it's all about rehearsal. And they're kind of like, rehearsal? And I just think, I'm like, do you think Tom Brady just shows up at the Super Bowl unpracticed? Do you think Tommy Lee shows up without rehearsing with his band? And so it sounds so obvious, but I appreciate you saying that. And that's what stuck out the most. Yes, they're talent, but talent can only take you so far. If you don't show up, if you're not rehearsed, you're going to get booed off stage and not going to have a career longer than a couple of years. So, and discipline. I mean, again, it sounds like they sound like professional athletes. And I appreciate you saying that too, because sometimes people just think like, oh, well, they're talented, I don't have it. But I really think that if you are disciplined enough, if you try hard enough, if you put in the work, provided you have some talent, I mean, that's really the difference between a little career and someone we don't really know, and then some of the biggest names that ever played.
yeah, it's kind of a hard truth to learn too. If you're in it, you realize like, dang, I don't want to work that much. But it really is like, God, I got to get up early. I got to go to bed early. I got to I got to hone in on my craft, like this X amount of hours a day. I got to stay on top of my contacts. I got to just do that. You have to go that extra 10 miles to just be the best you can be, not in the world, but for you. And like, and to make it, because it's hard to make it, man. And like, they don't tell you that to like, you gotta like be real, like really into it. You gotta be like a pro.
I think it's important that we speak so openly about this too, because even in my career, and I'm not Tommy Lee or Nikki Sixx or David Gilmour, but a lot of times people just look at me too, and it's like, even people be like, oh, you're lucky. And I think luck has nothing to do with this. You don't see me getting up at 5 a.m. You don't see me recording episode. You don't see me working with my speaking coach. You don't see me on Zoom with my trauma therapist, sobbing my eyes out, working through some heavy stuff. And so I like to say this out loud, because even the music industry in particular, it's all these like overnight successes that meanwhile have been broke and working their butts off for sometimes decades for their big break. And you don't want to discourage people, but I think it's also important to be so realistic. Is there some other misconception about the music industry that, you know, you'd love to speak on right now? Because it is really also a template for the rest of the world, that there are no shortcuts. the music industry, there's a lot to overcome. There's a lot of shady business going on. Even like the P. Diddy case is even showing what happens to a lot of young artists, which is so heartbreaking. And Lady Gaga, many have spoken out about assault and things that they endured when they had just signed a deal or were trying to sign a deal. And they didn't need to experience that. They're talented enough. But anything else you want to speak on in this? Because not to scare people or shock people, but there is a lot to navigate. And even if it maybe doesn't directly impact or happen to you, you see it or you hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that one misconception you say, it's like no artist made it overnight. I remember like when I found out about Rihanna for the first time, I was like, wow, that was quick. Like that was literally overnight. But then you learn more like, no, that was in progress for years and years and years. And yeah, like there's a lot of that going on. The music industry is really weird. It's like right now, they say it's like completely like not thriving right now. And it sort of isn't, because like a lot of musicians are not making money. A lot of clubs aren't paying that well. And it's not even the club's fault. It's just the economy kind of a thing. There's a lot of weird, like I've been signed to maybe four labels. I've been signed to 4 labels in my life. And I'm 31. And there's a lot of like trial and error. The labels want you to kind of, they maybe push a certain, not agenda, but they want you to act a certain way. And then that ends up being, if it's not authentic, which it never really is, you end up failing. And some labels are quite nice. I mean, they don't like, so I don't want to, I'm making sure I know what I'm saying here, because there's so much. As an artist in the modern world, trying to release his own original music, I feel like I'm in the thick of it. Everything is so congested and like there's so much of everything, so it gets a little blurry. It's hard to again articulate this sort of thing.
You know, it's so funny. I'm just getting the band name is escaping me, but that song Blurry, like Puddle of Mud, everything's so blurry and everyone's so fake. And he's talking about Los Angeles and he's probably calling out his record label. But blaming it on Los Angeles.
That is brilliant. Kate, I think you hit the nail on the head. I didn't want to say it, but it is kind of like that. Like, it's weird that it's hard to manage art people. And, like, that's what labels have to do. So, I mean, God bless them, because, like, they're in a weird position themselves. But if people would just let artists be as authentic as they can be, I think everyone could have a slice of the pie and we could all just share and be lovely and be like living in our truth and be weird. It doesn't have to be this crazy, like every song on the radio sounds the same now. It's like weird. And like I've noticed for sure, like social media is the new platforms, all sorts. And even that is kind of broken. Like it kind of, I noticed in the last 3 years, it sort of cracked. Like everyone is, you can't really promote a show. Those usually get swept under the rug with the algorithm. If you pay for it even, it doesn't really get real likes. It gets like these weird bots, these robot likes. Like it had a short circuit, like Instagram specifically. And I'm trying to explain this to my management. And I was trying to explain this to my label when I was signed to them. My God, like because they're saying post every single day. Make sure it's this and that. Like make sure it's this and make sure it's this kind of post too. It's like it has to be you playing a thing in a room with the lights dimmed a certain way. And it's like they're building this thing. And guess what? We did that and nothing happens from it. And from that experience, I try to tell them, like, I think it's like, okay, we're trying to curate something too much. We're not letting it happen naturally. And also the system's a little tweaked at the moment. It's just like, we need to re-examine like what's going on with social media. Everything is just like really like too much is happening. And I think the more people step away from it and go to live shows and just kind of connect more, I think the better it'll all be. I don't know.
Well, I think that your record label will like this interview and these clips because it's just so raw and so real. And for me, I'm just enjoying the conversation so much because it's just so cool to see the person behind your favorite performer or any person and just ask them these questions. So much is surface level, superficial. And I think when you can really get to know someone, you like them more, you trust them, you want to support them, you want to hear their music. And I think that's why some artists have been so successful because they put themselves out there vulnerably. And, you know, it's not just the paparazzi and tabloid getting in their business, but when they sit down and talk about their struggles or talk about behind the scenes. I think it humanizes our favorite performers, because sometimes musicians, movie stars, professional athletes, it's like you all get put in this box where people can't relate. It's like they love you, but they take away your humanity almost. So I just think it's so important. I wish that there was more of this, and not just like, tell me about your album, which we are going to talk about, but just like before the album, before we can all go listen to it, before you're on stage performing, with all these legends and becoming one yourself, who were you and what are you doing and what really matters to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like a lot of social things matter to me. And like that's a lot of things I talk about in my music and with my friends and stuff like that. And you don't get to post about that. Or if you do, you get chastised for it and you lose a lot of friends. And things get lost in translation in post and text and things. And like, it's just it's a weird thing. A lot of people too, like, I feel like a lot of the new music too we hear, I don't know if it's on the radio. I don't know if radio is even a thing, but like a lot of things we hear on Spotify playlists and like the big hits, to me, a lot of it sounds similar to each other. A lot of the same kind of beats and a lot of the same kind of sounds that are being sampled and stuff, and the same kind of vocal deliveries on certain aspects. And it feels like it's just like hypnotic. Let's turn it on for background so I could not think about the stresses of life or like my job and stuff. And I feel like that speaks something pretty intimate or important to what's going on now. Like everyone's trying to maybe escape as opposed to feel a little bit.
Oh, amen. You're speaking my language now. That's why I created this show. I was feeling such a disconnect, even with my own family or friends, and people, grown adults, not knowing how to connect, and people doing everything and anything to avoid feeling. And so even my tagline for this show is feel the real, and feel it, and how healthy that is. And it's like everyone wants to make more money or have better relationships or buy this or do that or experience that. And the gateway to that is feeling our feelings, which people are like, huh?
Yeah.
And as an artist, there is no good art devoid of feeling. You have to get in there. So you have this brand new solo album out called I Can't Imagine. Congratulations. What can you not imagine, Derek Day?
Oh my gosh. So many things, I guess. But like, what can I not imagine? I have to imagine not imagining that in order to answer the question. Or I have to like imagine the unimaginable, which is crazy. No, but I think that what I'm trying to say there with that song, it's very positive. I can't imagine. This thing is so good. I couldn't even imagine it. It's beyond my wildest expectations. I can't imagine that it came true. And that's kind of like my perspective on life and existence.
Ooh, I can't imagine. So what I'm getting from that too, so I like this and I like where we're going here, because I think everyone's, I feel like right now, especially can imagine all these worst case scenarios. And those are the messages that we're being bombarded with. And so what I love what you're doing here, which is the magic of you and your music, is let's start imagining how great this love can be, this relationship, this song, this feeling. And I want people to just give themselves permission to feel that good and feel that deeply. And oh my gosh, I can have a relationship like this. I can have a career like this. I can have a conversation like this, and start changing the narrative in our minds. Is that what you're doing here? I'm like tuned in, and I haven't even heard the song yet.
Thank you. That's exactly it. I'm going to jump out of my seat. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's literally it. And it really is. You've added another aspect to it. There's a lot of imagining bad scenarios. So it's like, you know what? You don't even know what's going to happen. So don't start manifesting the terrible. Like, just live your life and do the best you can. And next thing you know, it'll be amazing. It'll be wonderful.
Yeah. And, the journalist in me is always getting downloads and sound bites and quotes. And recently I got one that said something like, just start over instead. Don't settle. Refuse to live a life you don't like. And I think that's the energy of this too, is just begin again or try something else. And I think that's what happens. Romantic relationships keep coming to mind because I think a lot of people are in a, well, I guess it's as good as it gets situationship or relationship, or, well, I know this isn't right, but I don't want to have to start over, or I don't want to have to meet someone else. And then you do meet someone and you just connect and it's like, whoa. But then maybe you need to explore that instead of being like, well, I've been with this person 2 years or we're married or whatever. And I'm not supporting divorce, although I kind of do. But even with like a job or a career or even a song, you're like, well, this is really good. And that voice in you says, no, this can be better. It's going to cost another 2 days in studio time. I don't really have that money. Or we need to bring in a saxophonist to like tweak this thing here. And so I think even that's what I'm hearing too, is that it gets to be this good. You get to find a way to come up with the money to make the song that much better.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, you go ahead and take it. Like you could have your cake and eat it too. You can do it. You can. It's possible. If you think that way, if you feel that way. And if it's like, why not? Like, it's already a miracle that we're like talking to each other and existing right now. Like, how did we even get here to begin with? So like coming up with a little more cash or turning a situation around, like a lot of us are on $0 at the moment, but we'll get out of it, and don't stress over it. Let's just like look towards the yes of it and the awesome of it.
I'm feeling that too. And I'm curious how much you want to talk about maybe other themes or some ideas or concepts or feelings that are heavy on your heart right now. There's a lot of tension right now, like with strangers, with family, with lifelong friends. What do you feel like your role is as a musician? And I can't imagine this album right now as the songs continue to come out. What is your role or responsibility in helping the upliftment of the world or bringing people together?
I feel like whatever it is I have to do with anything that's going on is really helping people be as much themselves as they can be and so secure in themselves that they're so in love with themselves that they don't have to share hate of any kind to anything, to anyone. So when someone's not their vibe or someone's doing something kind of wrong, instead of being angry, they'll look at it with more like compassion and understanding. Because in the music I'm putting out, every song, it's a 6-song EP, and every song is like a little different, and they're kind of weird. They're not like industry standard pop songs. They're just like a little Frank Zappa, a little weird, like a funny stop and a blah blah blah, and like things that you won't, one's like 6 minutes long, one's 3 minutes long, one's like you don't really get those anymore. And like there's like funny, like little quirky random punches, and I think that is speaking to what I've been like. I just want to say what's in my heart right now, and I know it may not fit in, but it's just something really weird and cool, and it's how I am, it's who I am, it's me, and I love myself for doing that and taking the risk for doing that. So I just like, whatever my role is, it's like, it's just trying to communicate, like, take the risk in being yourself, and that way you'll love yourself and you'll emit more love.
I think you're saying so many important things. One is really the privilege and honor of being ourselves. And I think a lot of people struggle with that because they have no idea who they are, independent of labels, what family says, what society says, what some jerk says, what someone they used to be in love with says. And so really spending the time to do that. And then maybe you're there. And then the second step is, and it's something that I'm a coach myself. I hire coaches. I believe in working with professionals. For me, it's not because there's something wrong with me. It's because there's a lot right with me. And I want to be the absolute best version of myself. And not just for me, but really for the world. And I want to, everyone that I come in contact with, I want our interaction, Derek, to like something that we talk about or a way I made you feel that you're going to be that much better on stage, because then you're going to inspire these people. And it creates this beautiful ripple effect. The opposite is also true, as you just spoke to. And so for me, it's being that best. And with that is, even if we are so justified in our feelings, we can be right to not like that person. We can be right that person's a jerk. We can be right that person is whatever. But we can't be happy. It's like you can be right or you can be happy, and you can be angry or you can be at peace. And I think it's that notion of, for me, this last piece of evolving into this best version is the forgiveness, is letting go of resentment. And again, if you're listening right now, if you're watching, and or even if it's you, Derek, it's kind of like, no, I've earned that resentment. I get to, and it's like, okay, but again, it's like literally taking all of your joy. It's taking your creativity. It's taking your gusto to make the world better. So I think I just offer that, and you're speaking to it too, that if you really know yourself and have that love for yourself, you don't have time to, like, even think of you're putting together an album. You don't have time or the desire to dislike somebody, to hate somebody, to have resentment towards someone who did you wrong. You're too busy creating art.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good like worker mentality way to look at it. Like, you know what? I don't hate you. I'm too busy having fun or making my dreams come true. Like, I just can't have the energy to put out towards anything right now.
Yeah, or even something too, or even the people that are blocking people. And what my therapist has said to me too is how much energy it takes to block someone. And you block, hate, have resentment toward. It's so much energy. And rather you can just be like, it's just like going out to eat. You and I can go out to eat, and you're like going off about this chicken sandwich and how good it is. And I'm like, I'm not really into, like, you enjoy it. I'm going to sit and watch you eat it and be happy and enjoy it and get nourished. And I'm like, I don't like chicken sandwiches. I'm going to have the pasta, which you're like, oh, it's so bloated. I'm not into that. And I'm using a silly example, but it's like, there's not all this hate when we go out to eat. It's like, you want the chicken, I want the pasta. Who cares? And I think letting people be who they are too, and then just maybe choosing to not interact with them every day. But it's too much energy to hate people. It's too much energy to block people and tell everyone not to follow that person on Instagram. It's just, I'm even getting, my own therapy as I'm talking. The download is just to be so immersed in our art, whatever that art is, that it's like you can't even think about that other stuff. I actually did a video on this about a year ago. It's so interesting we're talking about it now because it really holds true. And I think sometimes we just need that friendly reminder.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. I mean, and again, I think it all stems from individualism. Is that the word? Individualism. Yeah. If you love yourself first and make sure you're taken care of, do your art, do your thing, you'll hate less.
Yeah.
You'll be more of a lover, not a fighter kind of a thing.
Yeah, you're still quite young for your musical journey. You have this whole career ahead of you. What are you most proud about this album? Like, was it the creative process? Was it that final product? Was it some lyrics that you thought, oh my gosh, that's like the best lyric I ever wrote? What was your creative process in putting this out there? And what makes you so proud to have it out in the world now?
I think the final product, when you said that, I was like, yes, that. Because creating it was super fun in my garage, like writing the lyric, crossing it out, rewriting. That's always super fun. But like, I think the final product itself and listening to it, that's where you feel like, wow, I really did that. Because it's so easy to say, I'll get to it. I'll do it eventually. Oh, maybe next month I could start. Yeah, or whatever. That's like the story of my life and maybe many people's lives. Like, to actually just freaking do it and have it mastered and mixed and done, like there it is. And now the next step is to like get it more out into the world and heard. And yeah, it's just like, it's cool. It's cool to hear the amalgamation of everything. And there's so much uncertainty when you're making it. Cause like, sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe that's not the right part, but I'm running out of time. Let's just lay that down. That's it. And there's only this amount of hours I have in the studio today. It has to be kind of done by next, But then you hear it all. It's like, none of that matters. You're like, no, this is it. Like, this is all of its guts and glory, blood, sweat, tears. It's ugly. It's beautiful. It's pretty. It's me. And as long as you hit that, my new motto now is like, as long as it's doing the thing that it's supposed to, then it's perfect. And nothing's perfect, but it will be perfect if it's doing the thing it was supposed to do. It's delivering the message. It's getting it across. It doesn't have to be like that little corner has to be squeaky clean. It can be a little dirty as long as the big picture is like there. And that's that. And so that's what I'm hearing from the final product.
I love that. Because I wanted to ask, how do you know when it's like, all right, this track is done? Is there that moment? Is it, I ran out of time and money? Is it, I got nothing else here? Like, maybe in 10 years I listen to it and be like, oh, I should have done that. But again, it's like in this moment, this is what I created. Is there that moment? Or do you have to have some surrender and let it be?
You have to have a little surrender and a lot of patience, I think. That's brilliant you bring that up because it really can be like musicians are so meticulous. We'll be like, no, it's not that shaker. It's not that tambourine. It's this tambourine. It's the wooden one. Okay, no, let's try a metallic tambourine. And it'll be days and days and days until you're done. Like, you're so, like, focusing on the wrong thing. And some people are geniuses for that. But, like, taking a second to be like, all right, we're done today. Let me sleep. I'll come back in a week. Let me not think about this. And that's where the patience comes in. You're like, you know what? Let's push release date a month or so. Let's make sure I'm okay with this, what we did today. That's another thing about subtlety with being a musician too. It's like, you have to like be okay with a lot of flaws or understand that flaws are actually what makes it good and real. And that's like something you don't learn in school. You learn how to be perfect in school, but then in life, you learn how to be flaw in a good way. So yeah, there's no real super way of knowing, but like that's what I guess maturity is, at least in yourself. Like if you trust yourself, you trust the process, you trust it being good.
And then our imperfections can be the coolest, most beautiful part, or unexpected, or relatable, or again, it is that feeling. Is that also what, so the song is done, or it's like, this is it. And then what is the goal? Do you want me to feel a certain way? And are you it's like, for instance, when I speak, it's like, if I want my audience to feel provoked, I'm going to speak in a certain way. If I want you to feel cared for, I'm going to speak to you in another way, even if it's the same words. So, or do you just kind of create, and it's like, Kate may feel lust and Scott may feel angry and Sally might feel hope. You kind of leave it to us and our interpretation. Or you're like, no, this is a song about heartbreak, and I want you to remember and feel and think of that person who broke your heart, but have this message of hope too. I don't know. I'm just so curious your take on that, because we're both artists in different ways. And what do you want us to experience when you release your first single?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Like every song has its own little intention, I guess. A lot of the times it is like, I want you to feel whatever you feel with this. Ooh. You take it. And I think you'll find that from most artists. Like, here it is. And you tell me what you think, and then I'll never even say if you're right or wrong. That's just, it's for you. As long as it made you feel, then it's good. And sometimes that's the intention. But with this first single and like the next 5 songs of it, my intention is to help people feel like they can do anything, kind of, in a way. I guess like there's songs in there about love and heartbreak and a little bit of politics, and I think that's it. Yeah, love, heartbreak, and politics. So like as far as what the song means, they could just interpret that, but as far as a feeling, or the objective for this album is like, feel like I wanted musically to take some risks. So I want people to feel like they can take risks and feel okay with that kind of a things. So now hearing the final product, I'm like, yeah, that sounds really weird. Cool. Great.
Okay. I love that. And are you of the mindset too, where if some people don't like it, or some people feel really off by a song that's really about hope, do you feel like that's also a win, that not everybody has to like it or get it or feel what you intended?
Yes, absolutely. That's a recent thing too. I started getting dislikes and bad comments in the last 2 years out of my whole career. Like 20 years I've been like playing. But I look at it, I'm like, oh, cool. Like there's a balance. There's dark and light. I kind of like that. Like, and I don't like read into it. I try not to read them, but I notice them. I'm like, okay, great. Cool. It means something's working. It means, because every single artist we love, individually or as a collective, there's always someone that hates it, and that makes them an artist, because art isn't supposed to be adored by all. So it should be kind of controversial.
Yeah. And if you've elicited a response that they want to say something negative or dislike, that's been a recent thing for me too, where it's like, oh, this is really good, or I'm really onto something here, because they're provoked. They're uncomfortable. They're making it about they don't like me, but really they don't like themselves. I think that's it too, is sometimes it's people project their hatred outward, or project their lack of courage to do the courageous thing that you did. So they want to comment on that, or you remind them of someone who was mean to them in high school, or whatever it is. And so it's it's such a good thing for all of us creatives and everyone to remember. Maybe someone was having a bad day, but I'm learning that if not everybody gets it, then you're really onto something, because that's the art. Not everybody likes it or really understands it. And then you're really onto something, because I think you're being really honest and authentic. And there's an attack on that. There's an attack on people's truth even. And I feel like, bravo, if you've provoked that beast, if you will, you know that you've created art.
Gosh, Kate, that was beautifully said. I mean, that's real. That's real, real talk. I've got freaking goosebumps, because that's also maybe a lot of why a lot of us can't communicate right now. It's like, I don't even want to hear what you got to say, because something in me needs to be worked on, kind of a thing. And like, and that's good. That's art. Life is art. Like, we're all living. I don't know if life imitates art or art imitates life anymore. You know, I see it all the time. I get these weird little winks from the universe. Like, I'm thinking about a song all day, and then I hear it in a bus, you know, or like things like that. Like, it happens to me every day, and it's just like a beautiful little like happening.
And as you're talking, what I'm getting, because you are very authentic, and I learned too that people think love is the highest frequency and vibration, but it's actually authenticity. And I think, again, it is a rare thing, because people, not only are they scared to be themselves, they don't even know who they are. So you can't be yourself and be authentic and be true to you when you don't know who you are and you haven't spent the time, energy doing that. And I'm getting some downloads, but it's just kind of like, the more authentic you are. And listen, there is a political figure who is, whether you like this person or not, arguably one of the most authentic people of all time. And
Yeah.
very, very provoking, very provoking. And so again, I'm like, what did you learn from Def Leppard and Motley Crüe? But for me, when I look at a very polarizing figure, I like to study them too, and thinking, what is it that people hate so much? And then I get into human psychology, and it is so fascinating. And again, I think the more we can understand, that person becomes way less triggering, and where you just kind of see the person for almost like the character or role they're playing in the world based on everybody else's projections. And so for me, that's been very helpful. If I find myself really triggered by someone or really buying into the rhetoric, if you will, if I can really step back and say, what does this mean for me? Or what is it in me that I don't like? Or maybe I even hate? Because I think often people model the behaviors of people they say they hate. And nobody's seeing that they're doing this. And this is, again, getting into a deeper conversation that we can even have off camera. But I'm just inviting everybody to really explore what's going on within them so that they can more clearly see what's going on around them, and really asking ourselves, what role do I play? And not just the world, but the betterment of the world, and start telling the truth a bit more. And that's, you know, what you've done here. And I appreciate anyone that can then put it in a song for us to feel, and to us to explore our truth based on you being brave enough to sing and write the truth.
Oh, thank you. Oh gosh. I love that. The raw-ish is so freaking cool. I need more things like this. I'm listening to it on my way to work. I just heard the whole episode with Kevin Carroll, I think.
Oh, isn't he amazing?
He's so cool, man. Gosh. And you guys are just, I feel like I'm learning, I'm in a life class. I'm like learning how to conduct myself and how to like handle things and stuff. This platform you've created here is just a great way to like observe and report and take care and heal, and let's just keep it real and feel.
Yeah, and sing and create and start talking about these things and coming together and learning from one another, even if it's someone you think I have nothing in common with this person, or we come from completely different backgrounds, but just how much we can all learn from each other. And that's why I love talking to musicians. Even right now, I was saying to my friend, I'm like, I need a live concert, like, because again, as someone who I'm missed feelings, I'm like, I just want to go feel. I want to experience your true feelings. I want to experience your passion and your presence and see what I can learn from it, or what it does for me, or even like maybe if I'm not feeling a certain musician for whatever reason, or sometimes I look and I'm like, wow, that person's really going through something. And so I do this as a performer myself. When you guys are on stage, I'm giving you, like, I remember even seeing you perform for the first time, and I'm like, wow, this guy is so incredible, and giving you my energy, because I know what it takes to be up there and everyone's staring at you, and It can be kind of awkward and just, I applaud you because it isn't easy what you do, but I imagine quite liberating and freeing.
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you. And yeah, actually, the weirder, the more awkward, maybe the more liberating.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So where can people find more of you? We'll have you in our show notes, but to listen to your music, to find you and upcoming shows and where you're going to be performing, what can you share with us?
Yeah, it's super easy. Just go to derekday.com. I have all of my band's shows in there, like Think X, Classless Act, me. I'm in a Tina Turner thing. I'm in all sorts of cool, fun little things playing all over town. And yeah, just go there. You'll see that. You'll read my bio and look at I put weird things up there, but good things.
So one final question for you. I'm so curious what 3-year-old little Derek and his diapers would think of Derek today and this album.
Oh my gosh. He would be like really like wide-eyed, and I think he'd be quite proud, but also like shocked. Like, whoa, like I didn't know we could be that. Because every year of my life, I feel like I've changed. Like every single, from 4 to 5, from 5 to 6 years old, I feel like I've like just turned into this other, not version of like a different person, just like I guess a different version of me. Like just because life is so intense, and I'd like to really take it in.
Thank you for doing that so that we can all feel it. And it is real. And we are feeling the real. So thank you for being on Raj, Derek Day.
Yeah!
The future household name in the music industry. You're doing it. You're doing it. And I think so much of it is because you're willing to just show up and do the work. And then other icons are seeing it. So do you feel like you're ready to step into that household name where then another musician is going to be on a show talking about what it was like and what it was like opening for Derek Day and what he learned from you? Are you ready to step into that role?
Yes. And I know it's a yes, because a year ago I would have said maybe not. And now I feel more than ever like absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to remember this conversation because we'll be speaking on my show in the near future. And we're going to be like, remember this? And we're going to be in a whole different stratosphere and place. And it's going to be a really beautiful moment. And you'll be like, I remember when you said that. And I'm like, I know. And I said it for a reason. So let's go.
Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go, Kate. Let's go.
Let's go. That's everybody's sign to let's go and find your inner artist, find your version of Derek Day who inspires you and uplifts you that you can have this kind of conversation with. It's so important that we have people who challenge us and inspire us. So thank you so much for being here on Raj today.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks.
You have to come back. I'm going to see you at the Mint soon here in Los Angeles. And thanks to you for watching. I know it was such a fun conversation with Derek. We needed this today, right? So we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye, everybody.